Howdy, all. I thought I'd go ahead and extend the previous video that I did about WordPress just to show you a few more things as far as how you would want to create data locally and then basically export that to a remote site. So a couple things that I'll go over in this thing, or at least demonstrate, I should say, is when you're doing testing locally on your site, which is what I've got right here. You may be adding a bunch of test posts, or you can, if you're staging something, you may want to develop some things or add posts or new post types. You may want to do it locally. And then at the end of the day, when you're ready to upload that, if you will, or what you can do is, since this is all stored in the database, if you want to upload it to a deployed server, you can, I'll show you one way to do it. There's many different ways, but one way to do it. So here's my local site. And one of the things that you haven't seen, or one of the things I haven't shown yet, is I have this same site that I've been developing locally. I have it deployed on SiteGround as a part of the course and such, but you get like a free trial for a couple of months. But SiteGround is, after kind of playing around with it and taking a look at it a little bit, seems to be a pretty powerful cloud hosting service for primarily WordPress applications, but I think it does so much more. And you might want to consider it, think of it as similar as like Heroku or DigitalOcean or things of that nature. But they have a whole bunch of WordPress utilities and things that make your life a lot simple. So I mean, this is not really going to be a commercial for SiteGround or anything, because I'm still learning a little bit about it myself. But just clicking here in SiteGround, as you can see, I've registered, created my own account and all that good stuff. You can see, like through the cPanel, you can see various things that you can do. So you can, see that you can add your domains. You can install, create multiple sites. There's different packages and plans, obviously, but if you take the course, they give you, you can sign up for free just for a few months to test out deployment and things of that nature. But this should just kind of give you a feel that there's quite a bit going on in here with migrators. I don't claim to know a lot of this stuff. You can set up your email servers so you can take advantage of that locally, or I should say remotely on SiteGround. You can also go straight into your database here. As you can see, so it's actually running remotely, which I've actually got it deployed remotely as well. So having said that, if I run the site, which is what we've got right here, I kind of wanted to show you this. Like if I were to take a look at our programs page right now, we have like 3 programs: biology, English, and math. And then locally here, I'm back in Fictional University, which is run locally here on my own machine. If I take a look at programs, I've got sports medicine. I'll even add, well, actually, that's a new one. I won't really go ahead and add any more there. Let's take a look at events. So if we were to take a look at the events tab remotely, let's take a look at professors. So we've got 4 professors here: Dr. Fu, Froggerson, Meows a lot, and Barks a lot. So that's remotely. And now locally, if I go to the professors tab, we still got the same 4. Now what I'm going to do locally is I'm going to add a new one. And I'm just going to say, new professor, just boring, but it's just boring text. I am a new professor. And, let's see what I've got. I'm a new professor. Don't really care what I add as my background image. This is just a sample. And I'm going to go ahead and say that they teach all 4 courses for the most part. And let's go ahead and publish. And here's what's kind of cool. So locally, I'm going to go ahead and open up the permalink locally. And as you can see, I've got the new professor tab, the four classes that we teach. So let's do the same remotely, it's just so that you can see what's going on here. So this is remote. So that's if you take a look at that URL right there. So we're back to our professors. I am basically going to click one that exists here. I'm going to open this up into a new tab. And now what I'm going to do is replace this part of the URL up there just to kind of prove to you that they don't exist. Page not found. So they don't exist remotely. And as you also saw, um, we also have like, let's see here, programs. So running locally here in Fictional University, we've got sports medicine, but locally, I'm sorry, remotely, we've only got 3. So now how are we going to get this data up from local to remote? One way to do it actually is we can take advantage of the built-in WordPress import and export features. Now, there's also other things which you can do here. We've got migrations where you can, these are plugins that you would install in addition, and there's a whole bunch of plugins out there. I'll leave that up to you to go ahead and search, where you can actually create new databases or installations remotely from your current one. But in this case, the databases already exist. And all I really want to do is go to Tools and Export. And let's see what we've got here. So I am going to try, you can do it one at a time. You could do events or programs. Haven't tried it with all contents, but let's see if the all content works. So I'm going to go ahead and just download this export file. As you can see, we've got a download going on right there. And as you can see right here, we've got this file right there, which is 330 sub 1 because I have another one. Now let's go remotely to our admin panel, and we'll go to Tools, Import. And I think what we can do is run this WordPress one right here, and we'll just do a import. And so let's take a look here. Let's select this file. So let's see what happens here. If I say upload file and import, and I am going to assign posts to me, which is root, or you can do it to other users or all, but here we go. So I just did an import WordPress. So now having done that, let's take a look and see if we actually have that imported. So let's go right here. And actually what's kind of interesting, because I'm trying this for the first time, I don't see the new program being imported. And if we go to professors, I don't see the new program being imported there too. So again, I'm trying this for the first time. This is kind of interesting. It says you can to export the content. This will contain all of your post pages, comments, custom fields, terms, okay, and custom posts. So something doesn't seem like it's working too well there, but let's go ahead. I noticed that if you do individually, um, if you go to programs and then you say download, and I kind of wanted to show you, I was pretty sure that the current ones, like the all wouldn't work here, but so now I'm going to just do one. So I'm just doing programs. So we'll try the same thing again. So we will go to import. And let's see if I go to, let's see, we've got run importer. I think we can just run this one in WordPress. So let's see what happens now. Now, I didn't say this was going to work. I just said these are some plugins that you can try. But I think if you just do it one at a time, you have better luck. So now if you go to programs, as you can see, it did work. So that is very interesting. So we've imported the sports medicine. So now what I can do is also import the professors. So let's go to here, select professors. So I'm back locally, download the export file. So now we've got this new file right up here. So let's go ahead and try this again. And we will go to Tools, Import, and we'll run the importer. Select that, upload it, file and import. Let's just do it for me. So we don't do it impact all, but and as you can see, we've got our new professor there. So I find that kind of interesting. The regular out-of-the-box plugin for WordPress does appear to have an issue when you use the WordPress exporter and importer to import all content. It seems like it wants you to do it one at a time, but I'll probably check into that further. But I guess what I'm saying is there's all kinds of plugins that you can use that'll allow you to create backups. You got your Migrate DBs, you got your all-in-one WP migration. That works quite well for backups there too. So those are things to kind of explore. The other thing that the course will show you, and I find this to be really nice, is let's just say we're doing development locally and we want to push our changes remotely. We want to do deployment, especially of our source files. So what I just showed you is one way you can export your database records and things like that. There's many other ways, and plus you can write code to do it as well and invoke, like run into the API, or you can import into the database. So there's so many different ways you can skin that cat. No offense to animal lovers. I love animals. That was just a figure of speech. So let's just say I want to make a change to this text here. All events, see what's going on with our world, and maybe to the front page. So, or maybe to the About Us. So as a real, shall we say, kind of a lousy example, but it just demonstrates, I'm back at Fictional University here. And if I go to About Us, it just says About Us. If I go to the, let's see what we've got here, the post where we've got our, I think it's where we've got, well, first of all, our events. So let's do our events archive. Where is events archive event? So let me look at this first. So here's our events archive. I should say locally. Let me go right here locally. Okay, so that's where it says all events. And if I go to right up here, let's just say I wanted to say changed. There's really not much here to demonstrate, but that'll take care of this one right here. And if I go to the About Us page, which if I go to the About Us page right here, see we've got a hi there here. Let me just go ahead and change all of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace this. This is a piece of text to demonstrate a change, for example. Really kind of boring, but anyways, by making that change, whoops, you can see it says echo. That's not what I wanted to do. So I go to single page right here. Let's see here what we've got. So I put that, unfortunately, I see the error of my ways. One of the things about doing the PHP stuff is you have to be careful to make sure you include your PHP code inside of your open and closing tag. So here's the closing tag right there. So if I do this, that'll take care of this problem right there. There we go. So now, with automated deployment set, one of the things to keep in mind right here is, or one of the things I should mention to you is I actually have this installed with Git, a Git repo. So I have this site installed. Long and short of it is, I'm going to go ahead and commit this change. I could use the command line interface, but I really enjoy this tortoise too. So what I'm going to do right here is say new change to be pushed up. So with the automated deployment feature, this course actually goes and walks you through the steps. This is kind of cool. It's the deployhq.com. It's free deployment where you can actually create your projects and tie them into your GitHub. So I actually have a GitHub repo that it's a private one that has the site connected to, and they'll actually show you how to do it. But you end up creating what is known as a hook from um, your GitHub repo. You basically give it permissions for this deploy hq.com to tie back into it. So long and short of it is anytime you check in changes to your, shall you say, your GitHub repo, um, this particular automated deployment feature is going to wake up and pull all of your changes and do another deployment. And I have this set up, this automatic deployment. I actually have it set up to go to SiteGround and to deploy more or less to this site up here, which is Theron K1SGU.site, which is, you can do the same thing when you take the corpse, but I just kind of wanted you to see that this is quite feasible. So let me go ahead and push, and I'll just show you what I mean. Go back here. As you can see, here's the webhook right there that ties back to your GitHub repo. I'm sorry about the silence right there. Um, Actually, so I'm back on my my GitHub repo, but here's the actual, it's the private repo that I created. So anytime I pull a change or push a change up there, this deployment project right here is going to pull it and then do an automatic deployment from it. And like I said, that's basically set up with the whole concept of webhooks. So you go to your webhooks, I've got that tied to the learnerdeployhq.com, which when you set up your free account up here, you'll see that. I like to use, since this is just a throwaway account, I just typed in a throwaway name up there. But anyways, I wanted you to see that. That's how Fictional University, this project inside of Deploy, is able to tie into my own repo. So if I do a push, let me just show you right here. I know I'm doing kind of a lousy job of talking here or explaining. Um, let's go to, what do we got going on here? Bear with me. We'll go to our dashboard. Okay. So here's our dashboard with all of our previous deployments. So watch what happens when I go ahead and push this change up. There's our remote GitHub account that or repository to my, it's a private one that I'm pushing up. So once I push these changes, give it a second, you'll notice that this wakes up. It's kind of like, it's almost like CoDeploy under AWS, where CoDeploy is the agent and such is watching for any kinds of changes either to your repo through code commit or through an S3 bucket or what have you. But let's just go ahead and let this change finish. You can click on this actually and see your events so you can actually see what's happening. So it's like doing a preparing, building, and it's in a transferring step right now. And let's let it finish. Okay, there we go. So you can take a look at your deployment report. So you can see it was checking out your repositories, generating your manifests, delivering the webhook notifications, emails. So you can set it up to give you emails. The course is cool because it shows you how to set this up, and this is free actually. So as you get the one project and all that, you could use this in some of your other projects out there. And having said that, let's take a look. If all is said and done, we're back on Theron K1. We're back on the SiteGround site. And here's the About Us page on the local one. So if I refresh this, let's see what happens if that shows up. As you can see, it does. So our deployment actually succeeded. So that was on the About Us page. And then the other change that I made. So the other change I made was to go ahead and change the title where it says all events changed. And then I just added the text change. So if you go back to our local one here, as you can see that says changed and changed locally. And before the deployment, when we went remotely, you can see it doesn't have it there. If I go ahead and refresh this page, you can see we've got change there and change there. So this was just a demo, not really a tutorial, but a demo of you know, how you can actually have an environment set up where you're in WordPress, where you're doing all of your development locally using Git. And you could also use Bitbucket. I don't know Bitbucket, but I do know Git. And then you can push all of your changes up remotely. But you can use not just this free, you know, deployhq.com, which I think is pretty cool, but you can use AWS or Azure or any other type of provider that you know of that you've got your WordPress site hosted on that'll actually allow it to tie into. So anyways, I hope this demo helps at least give you an idea of some of the things you can do. This was not meant to be a tutorial. Again, for the tutorial part of it, you'll probably want to, you know, take the course, but they will walk you through SiteGround and how to get yourself a temporary site. Oh, and one other thing while I'm here, I kind of wanted to show you another really cool thing about SiteGround and is, you know, you can go to your cPanel here. You can actually go to your MySQL page right here, and you can go to phpMyAdmin. So as you can see remotely on that remote server, I'm actually looking at my own WordPress site up here. So let me expand that. As you can see, we've got our tables here. I'm going to the post table. You can see we've got our different posts up here. You know, again, using phpMyAdmin, you can do searches with filters. I'm not going to get into that as a tutorial part, just kind of showing you what you can do with SiteGround and their cPanel. They also have a file manager. So another thing I wanted to show you, which I thought was pretty cool, but you might want to be careful, is you can click on File Manager to go to your path. So here's where we actually have the site deployed. And these are all the individual pages, including the events. So check this out. So if I go to page dot, let's see where we are. Oh, I wanted to go to the themes. There we go. If I go to page.php, single page, I think it's, there we go. I can click on that and then I can go right into the code editor. You're probably not going to want to do this actually, but I'm just showing you some of the things you can do with the cPanel through the file manager view. So right here itself, that's actually with a single event. I actually want to go to the events archive. I'm so sorry. Well, bear with me. Let me double check something here. If I just click on this guy right here, uh, let's just make a change to this one. So if I say, yeah, we're back on our, this is a piece of text right here. Okay, so let's just go to the events. I think it's a single page event. Now, on second thought, I'm just changing my mind. Let's just go to the single event. We'll just make it really simple. I can choose to edit it. And I'll just put something right up here under the page banner. I'll just say, I just added this. Just do a strong tag. Again, this is something you don't want to do. It's probably best thing just to do all of your development locally. But let's just say you had to put an emergency change out there, what have you, because you don't really want to run into a situation where you've got code drift where your local doesn't match up to your remote. But if you had to do something as an emergency fix and you didn't have time to do the deployment, you can actually edit the file in place. So as you can see, I just added a change there. So I'm back up remotely. And as you can see, my single test there, I've got that piece of text. So there's so much more you can do with cPanel. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm just kind of just giving you a feel for some of the things that you can do with SiteGround. And no, this is not selling you on SiteGround, but I actually think it's kind of cool. And it's one of the other fringe benefits that you'll get if you take the course is, you'll have the ability to set some of these things up, including a free account. So I hope this helps, and sorry about the actual period of silence there. I had a problem with the audio, and thanks for watching. I hope it was somewhat beneficial, and I know it's not the greatest thing in the world that I did, but hopefully if I can help somebody, that's great. Take care.